What's up, YouTube? I'm Kratzilla Vapes, and today I want to take a quick look at a couple mechanical mods and just give you a basic guideline on how to use them and a couple safety tips, just because they don't have safety features. So let's take a look at them. Alright, but yeah, I got a couple examples pulled out, a couple good mechanical mods. You hear a lot of stories about, oh, that e-cig blew up, or it burnt my leg, or stuff like that, and a lot of it's just user error. You gotta have a safe build, good batteries, and know what you're doing, you know what I mean? And that's the problem a lot of the time. People don't know what they're doing. But mechanical mods have a lot of benefits, you know what I mean? They're aesthetically pleasing, they're nice, you can put them in your pocket nice and easy, stuff like that. I don't know, I used them extensively before regulated mods could really fire low, you know what I mean? Sub-ohm builds like 0.5, ooh, but a lot of regulated mods, the cheap ones anyway, wouldn't fire that kind of stuff. Now they do, so they've kind of fallen out of use, but a little bit, but they remain popular with a lot of people. So that's why I want to look at them, teach how to use it safely. A couple examples here. Alright, but yeah, let's dive down, take a look. Alright, a little walkthrough of mechanical mods and how to safely use a mechanical mod. I have a couple examples here. This is a single tube mod, 18650. I'll actually use 18350s or 18500s too. It's called the Nemesis. It's my favorite. It's got a nice button on it. Can use magnets or springs. And it's got a pretty low voltage drop. From what I hear, I don't test them or nothing, but it's nice. Always like the way it looked. Then this here is, oh, and by the way, this is a e-cigar clone, and this is a tobacco clone of the Chi Megan 26650 single battery tube mod. It's pretty nice. Takes the thicker 26650 cells, nice and shiny stainless. But yeah, these are the examples. I'm going to show you how to use them safely. Basically, with a mechanical mod, like let's say all you had was mechanical mod, an atomizer, and your 18650 battery, you would need a resistance tester, and I don't have one of those because ever since the one I had broke, I just use regulated mods to check the resistance of any build I put on there. So I'll be using that in this video to check your builds, because it is most important to know when using mechanical mods like these, or like the Noisy Cricket, or anything without a screen, where it's just a battery housing that opens and closes the circuit. You need to be using a build, coils, or a coil with a resistance that is safe for the battery that you're using. You can't be using a build with such a low resistance that it's pulling too much current from the battery. Basically, that's where you run into problems. Batteries will heat up, and ultimately they can vent and they can explode, you know what I mean, if they're hard shorted, or if the build's just too low and you're chain vaping on it. That's where you're going to run into problems. So basically, for different batteries, you have to know your amperage levels, or your safe low resistances. Basically, with a Samsung 25R cell, I know it's 0.15 is the safest resistance you can build down to. People go lower than that too, but you're gonna run into just you're beating the shit out of your batteries. The batteries will get hot, stuff like that, and they could explode, or you know what I mean, vent in your pocket or whatever, and you don't want that. So I stay well above that usually. If I'm using a mechanical mod, my build's usually right around there, or a little above. This build's actually a little above. So is this one actually. I pretty much follow the same guidelines for this MNKE 26650 cell. Here, I'm going to go ahead and disassemble these mods real quick. Probably speed it up if you're lucky. Alright, all disassembled. So basically, with these tube mods, they all have basic parts. There's a tube housing for the battery. Sometimes it comes in more than one part. That's how this Nemesis is able to use different length batteries. So there's a tube, a housing for the battery, a top cap, and a button. On most mods, there are exceptions like the side fire mods and different shit like that, but here's the Nemesis button. Basically, these threads down here screw into the bottom of the battery housing. The battery sits on this black insulator here, and as you push the button on the bottom of the mod, the contact pin there touches the bottom of your battery, closes the circuit. You can see there, it just clears it just barely. That's how you want it. Keep this screwed in nice and tight. Something you always, that's a tip for mechanical mods, you make sure your contact pins are screwed in there nice and tight. And then yeah, there's a pin in here that you can adjust from the inside. Normally you would take the top cap off, but mine's freaking stuck right now. So yeah, to use this mechanical mod, first of all, you have to check your resistance to make sure it's safe for your batteries. Let's get back to that real quick, because it is like the most important part. I'm using Samsung 25Rs, so I want it to be 0.15 or above for a safe build. So what am I looking at on this one? See, it says under there on coil, I don't know if you can see it. It says the coil is 0.2 ohms. So that's safe for this battery, you know. Should hit pretty hard too. Just a quick side note, like the resistance checkers on a lot of mods aren't that great. I like the one on the Joytech Cuboid because it goes down to hundredths instead of just tenths of ohms in resistance, so it's pretty accurate. You know, and it's not like I'm going super low, so I'm just making sure more or less that it's not shorted out and it's safe for that 0.15. You gotta check for shorts ahead of time. Alright, slide my battery in here. Oh, this one doesn't want to go in here. Whoa! Alright, the wrap on that one's probably a little fucked up, which brings me to another point. When you're using a mechanical mod, or any mod anyway, you want to make sure the wrap on your battery is intact. Like I'm looking at this one, it's got a little chip, I don't know, a little warpage there, but that's fine. It's got to be intact because the outside of this battery is ground in the circuit, and if it touches any part of the battery housing when you're firing it, you'll get a hard short and it'll melt the battery casing a little bit, and you know, it's just no good. You'll have to use a different one. But yeah, here, just screwing it in. I have the battery screwed all the way down, and the atomizer is now making contact, so it's all together, you know what I mean? You'd have to just make sure your resistance is within safe guidelines for your battery, and make sure it's not shorted. Use batteries with nice intact wraps and should be good to go. Let's see how this fires up. Ooh, too much juice on there. Yeah. Sometimes it takes a second for the first hit just to like heat up the coils initially, but then you're good to go. As you can see, it's working good. Alright, now I'll demonstrate this e-cig's top cap. It's a little different. It's also a little soaked in e-juice. What the hell? Alright, but yeah, this e-cig top cap on this e-cig, there's actually an encasing in here. I'm not going to take it apart now, but there's a spring-loaded pin in here. There's a spring underneath that. I believe it's a brass pin in there, and then so that self-adjusts when you screw your atomizer down on there, which is cool, you know what I mean. I'm gonna go ahead and use this haze dripper tank on there. And then what you do, you take your button. It's pretty similar to the Nemesis. Holds a pin, pushes up. You can use a spring or magnets. You can see it there. Hold on. Yeah, see how that's pushing up? You want to make sure that's screwed in tight. Hold the button, because it'll just spin. So yeah, that's screwed in tight, like that. Then what I do is I screw that onto the mod all the way, like that. Drop her in, because now you know your button's adjusted all the way in. And then this pin here will adjust out to make contact with your battery to avoid battery rattle. You want it to be nice and snug. And you also want it to sit flush so there isn't a gap here when it's all the way screwed in. And see, it made contact. Then you get like a third of a turn. See, that looks pretty good. There's the tiniest gap, but it's not bad. It's making good contact. You can tell. Battery's not shaking around. Should be good to go. The atomizer's sitting down nice and flush. Looks good. Let's see if we're working. By the way, the resistance on this build is pretty high for a mechanical mod. It's like 0.4 or something, but it's a single coil tank. I don't know, still gives off pretty good flavor and vapor, even on the mechanical. Check it out. Yeah, this is the haze dripper tank. But yeah, that's how you use mechanical mods. Just a little walkthrough. You know what I mean? A lot of these products don't come with fucking instructions or any kind of, you know what I mean, guide as to how to use them. So I just wanted to give a basic guide as to what the hell you're supposed to do with these things and how to safely use them. Also, on a side note, keep them clean. You know what I mean? Keep the threads clean where they make contact. This whole thing is an electric circuit, so you know what I mean, keep it clean, keep juice off of it. You're going to want to take your atomizers off every once in a while, clean them up, you know what I mean, make sure the contact pins are clean. You should be good to go. You'll avoid hot button problems as long as you keep the resistance of the builds you're using in a safe limit, and keep the mods clean. They're really fun to use, kind of old now. They're a little less popular, but still a great way to vape, and they're cheap, you know what I mean? Oh, see, it took a second. There it goes. Alright, but thanks. Gonna go up. I'll just hit these mods a couple more times, and then we'll wrap it up. Alright, but that's how to put your battery in and use your mechanical mod, you know, and just a couple safety tips, and show you a couple of the mods that I have, mech mods that I have that I use. But yeah, this has been Kratzilla Vapes. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Alright, I'll see you next time.